What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Hope you're all doing well today. We have got E Street for you today. Now, if anybody's been around the community since around mid-2023, you have probably played the original version of this track already. It's created by Kells, and again, so is this one, this most updated version. This is basically a remastering of the previous one, going over it completely from scratch, building it again from the ground up, and as Kells has progressed as a track creator over the years, so has his tracks. So comparing one to the other now, it's just completely night and day difference. I will, of course, leave the link to the previous track as well as this one here in the description for you to check them both out if you haven't done so already. And E Street is not just one track. It is actually two. So E Street is this one here that I'm looking at, and then we have got MMX as well, which is over here on the right. Now, on the original version, it did also have both tracks. However, the MMX track over to the side here didn't look like it had been cooked on for too long. It looked almost like a bit of a second thought. I hope Kells doesn't mind me saying that. But now, it looks like he's gone like ham. He's gone crazy. He's kept it in the oven for a very long time and he's cooked on it. So we're going to spread both tracks out today. We're going to give a go of both of them. And there is also, again, I don't know where in the world this is located. It is a replica track, but there's even more tracks over here in the distance as well that he hasn't done. This might be like Kid's Fetch track. I have no idea. But we're going to be focusing on these two today. I'm very, very excited to get into this. And I believe this is also part of the Local Cross series that Kells and Question have been building tracks for. So very excited to give this a go. And hopefully it lives up to the old expectations that I had as well. Because his old version of this, I think the last actual race video that I done on this channel where I didn't live stream a race, I recorded it and uploaded it. I think the last one was on this, on a TM254 stroke, and I absolutely loved it. Like, it was such a fun track, so I'm hoping for more of the same today. Good thing about this being a complete sand track as well is it also gives me the opportunity to use the one goated sand setup that I keep using over and over again. What is the... I'm trying to... What does this say here? This is very, very small. I might have to go into replay to look at this. Sunday, August 25th. Oh, so this looks like real life stuff that he's taken here and replicated, like the actual real races that go on and the dates and such. That's quite cool. I love that. Like, good reference material to look at and brings a bit more life to a track as well. So off the start we go here. We are, I was going to try and pop it up on the back wheel, get a little wheelie going on the start straight, but sand traction, hard to get that initial pop. Now, down and round to the left, I believe here is the only different track layout that we've got on this. So in the past, you used to come under this tree here that we've got on the left-hand side, or it might have been that tree there. You'd then hook a 180 to the left, go back in this direction, then hook a 180 to the right, and then it would bring you out roughly around here somewhere. And then you would hit this right-hander that we've got coming up here and join back onto the track as normal. So not too much different in terms of the floor plan, I guess the track map, you could say, but already I can tell you in what have we done, 3 corners so far, this track is more difficult than the original. This one looks a lot more techy. Some more ruts on the straights. I don't think the last one had anything on the straights itself. It was bumpy on the straights every now and then, but it was really only the corners that had ruts to them. And I'm pretty sure on the, let's say the TM250 from whatever the last race video I done was, you could duct tape your right trigger down and you could accelerate around the entire track without shutting off, other than one corner. Oh no, another change. There's another slight change here. So that this used to be like a tight 180 rather than a 90 and then another 90. And you used to have a quick little right-left chicane. Then you would get onto these tabletops. And he's built the faces of these jumps up quite a lot as well. These used to be very, very mellow. I also saw as I was flying around this next jump I'm come up to. On the old track, it was just a tabletop. Now it looks to be a table and an extra little bit of extension on the end as well. So a little bit trickier. You've got to time your jumps a bit more here. Actually have a reason to try and scrub and time things. I'm such a slut for little details like this, like track markers being knocked over. Again, just brings more life to the track. Good environment building, good world building. The skybox on this place looks absolutely beautiful. There's not many tracks on this game that I don't change the skybox myself for in the thumbnail creating process. Lovely Photoshop. Get to delete the sky and make your own one whenever you want. But I might not have to do that. I might have to not have to do that on this one. It looks very enticing as it is. So we've got one lap in. Let's see if we can try and get some sort of a flow going. And I can already tell you that this is going to be a little bit trickier to do than on the previous one. It's not like disgustingly difficult, but all these little... Nothing's uniform. That's the best way of wording it. It seems like every single rut is slightly different. It's got different bumps, and you want to try and memorize where you're jumping on various parts. You could also go up onto that bridge on the last track as well. I don't know if you still... It looks like you can off in the distance if he lets you out there, if he lets you go outside the map. But again, that was just... We're a little bit... What's the word? I don't even know the right word for it. We're a little bit ADHD, us video game players. So when you're sitting in a lobby and you're not allowed to go and ride on the track yet for like the rules of the series or whatever it is, and you need something to do, going and riding and doing a little bike life up on that bridge was kind of the best next best thing, rather than just sitting in the pits waiting. So I would always do it. So I wonder if you can still do exactly the same thing here. These outsides are huge. Like you can, oh my god, you can get very cranked over in that corner, and then a very steep but short, to say very steep but short tabletop there, so you do have to check up a little bit on the 450 at least. But I imagine that a lot of the testing and stuff on this track is probably on a 250. But I don't know why. I've got no evidence of that, no backing. It just feels like for a more of a local crossy type track series, a lot of 250 riders would enjoy that a little bit more. I used to love this right-hander as well. If you timed it just right, you could go from the outside, cut to the inside, drift out wide again, carry all that momentum. Seems a little bit harder to carry your momentum through here this time than it used to be. This far right looks enticing. There's a little bit of a low spot on the side there, another low spot there, but then you do set yourself up poorly for this next right. Let's try and hug it tight, get my arse out the seat, stay up on the pegs. Best thing to do just for going through the sand is staying light on the bike. I mean, in general now, really, since Beta 20 first came out and now Beta 20B, I reckon you can double around that corner. I'm going to turn around real quick and try it. I feel like anytime I try and sit down in a rut, I get really wonky. So I basically just stand up almost everywhere now. Unless it's a completely flat corner, then it's a little bit different. But yeah, for the most part, I just stand up, lean back. Best thing to do. Can we... Oh, 100%. So I didn't hit the corner well at all. So if I try and rail all the way around the outside, and then we'll hit the high spot on the far left of the jump, might just be able to get enough oomph. Might just be able to. This is... we'd never do this in real life, of course. I don't see a world where anyone does this in real life, but that's the joy of a video game. Oh, not quite. I didn't quite get there. I noticed the takeoff on that left-hand side, the run-up. There's like a little bump just before it that robs you of your speed. So maybe if you can exit the corner early and move further to the right and have a slightly smoother run-up to that jump, maybe that's doable. Very enticing, though. I like sand tracks for that exact reason. You can try and get a little bit creative. And oh, but speaking of sand tracks, by the way, I don't know how many of you keep up with the GPs, since I know a majority of you that watch these videos are from the US. I know the US aren't that into their GPs, so you rather just stick to the AMA side of things. But old Jeffrey Hurlins, eh? Going 1-1 at Keegham's. You'll love to see it, getting the old boy out of there, the Sand King. I was very, very happy seeing him do well. Almost didn't get the win in Moto 1, though. Mr. Sasha Coonan was... Not Sasha, other one. Lucas Coonan. I always get them two confused. Was giving him a good run for his money. But for an old boy, you got to respect it. You got to respect him for still being able to hang out the front. That, I suppose sand is his forte, so if he couldn't get it done there, you have to wonder, can he do it anywhere anymore? But good to see. I was very happy watching that. We will do one more lap, I think, around this track, and then we'll move our way over to the other one. So whilst I do still have good, fond memories of the old version of this track, and muscle memory will probably carry me a little bit of the way. I haven't got to think too much. I know just in general where the track goes. The other one, I could probably count on two hands the amount of laps I've actually spun around it before. So this is going to be a new one for me. I'm not going to have any idea about the track layout at all. I'm going to have to try and learn everything on the fly, whereas at least this one it was just only a couple. Jesus Christ. That was disgusting. I apologise for that. I may or may not have had some ice cream just before this, and it basically just tried coming back at me. I'm so sorry. Yeah, just a couple of changes on this one, so it's fairly straightforward to learn. I do have a feeling those insides might be really nice, but that outside is just so inviting because how big that berm is built up. And we've got this big step here. I don't think I've tried all the way around the outside here yet. Looks like that rut just one to the left is nicer. Then you send this bad boy, and then used to, I don't know if it's still the case, I haven't gone and played the old version again on this newest beta, but you used to have to rail the outside there on a 250 to be able to get up and over that finish jump well. If you took the inside, it was near impossible to get all the way over. If you was going for a hot lap, you'd do it just to shut the distance down, But yeah, for a normal race, you'd want to rail around the outside beforehand. So let's try this bad boy out now. And I'll be honest, in the little flyover, in the replay camera, this one looked the most enticing out of the two. And I couldn't tell you why. It just looked good fun. Maybe because it's like properly brand new. Now, I don't believe... Maybe you can. I definitely should have checked this, shouldn't I? You know when you put a new track in your game, I've got like how my folders go, my track folders in game. I've got like vid 1, vid 2, vid 3, and I've just created more and more folders over the years as I've put tracks into my game for videos like this. And this time when I dropped this one in, E Street was the first one that popped up in that folder in testing, so I didn't have to change track. So I don't actually know. Whilst there is 2 different tracks in here, and I'm sure there's timing gates on both that you can definitely do server side, I don't know if there's 2 on the testing side at the moment, so I apologise for that. But again, if you've got this track, you can just quickly double check that for yourself anyway. It would be nice if there was, because this is a lot better than the OG version right now. And I'm wondering what the different tracks are for, if it's like they have different classes going on at different times in the day. Do you rock up and you pay one fee and you get to ride both tracks whenever you want, or you pay for one and pay for the other and it's just the same owners? I'm sure this is probably some of you guys watching's local track. We always seem to have somebody from a specific area anytime we get replica tracks in game. So if you do have any more information on that, please do let me know down below. Very intrigued to see. Can we... Do you reckon I can double that as well? That sent me very high. I wonder... Because I believe these tracks were made for a race series as well with that local cross. I wonder if they've put like an invisible barrier there to stop you even trying to go for it. Or just in the testing process, they've done their due diligence and put that further away or made it so you can't quite get up and over. If I rail the outside... but then this doesn't send me quite as high, does it? No, so you don't get the air time if you hit that on the far right. So again, maybe just out of reach. Which, whilst that would be an incredibly fun line to do, as we know, insanely unrealistic, and it'd probably be quite annoying. Imagine doing a race on this. It's like that's a make or break line for qualifying, or you're riding around normally in a race and then someone tries to send in that on top of your head and lands on your back and destroys your spine, and then you both go down. It would be so annoying to deal with. So I'm kind of, part of me is a bit upset that I can't quite get that, because that would be a fun, I guess, style points line. But then the other half of me is very happy that that's not the case, because that's always an issue when you have replica tracks, is sometimes they work really well in-game, but more often than not, there's a good amount of tweaking that the track creators have to do to get it to flow well. And in MX bikes especially, I know, speaking from my own experience, if you want to remake like a UK track, for example, then a lot of them are just quite boring, and they're very 125 friendly. A lot of the tracks in the UK, at least practice tracks, are quite tame, mostly for insurance reasons, so people don't just wad themselves. But a lot of time it's just corner, straight, corner, straight, corner, straight, small tabletop, corner, straight, small tabletop. Like, there's nothing like particularly spicy or particularly difficult about a lot of the tracks. At least we're up. That was definitely picked up in the microphone. Someone's channeling their inner boy racer outside with a big exhaust on the back of their car. How inconsiderate. I'm trying to record a video here, whereas it seems like a lot of tracks in the US have a little bit more about them. You know, they're a little bit spicy. And even things like, for example, if you're from the US, you can just go and ride Parlour, for example, at the same time the pros are riding. Obviously not on race weekend, but just on a general practice day, you can just rock around and pros can rock up and ride on the same track as you. That blows my mind. The fact that you can get like D-class riders wobbling around at the same time as Chase Sexton's riding around, for example. That's nuts to me. I'm generally surprised that they don't group it for stuff like that. But different ways of life, I guess. Different ways of running things. It might just be because it's new and I'm having to learn everything about it. I'm really vibing with this other second track so far. Maybe more so than the first one. I'm having a good amount of fun trying to learn it. Trying to memorise where it goes is the biggest thing. We downshift to second tier, should still be able to get the pop up and over that triple. Definitely send in the single before it way too far. This track does seem very 250 friendly. I'm having to check up quite a lot for some of these jumps, so just bear that in mind as and when you try it. I know some people get a bit funny if tracks don't have these absolutely massive booters everywhere that you have to hit wide open. I like when tracks make you think about everything and they have a little bit of technicality to them. It isn't just hold the throttle wide open and you'll be fine. I That's why sometimes I believe it's a bit harder to go fast on a 450 than it is a 250. Because a lot of the time on 250s it is hold it wide open, and if you hit it wide open enough, you'll make it. If you don't, you'll crash. Whereas on a 450, a lot of time I feel like it can go both ways, where if you mess something up, you might not make it and you'll crash. And alternatively, you might have too much speed and then you'll overdo something and crash. I quite like having to find that nice middle ground, that bit of balance, which is why I'm a big fan of rough tracks. It really makes people just check up and think about what they're doing more, rather than just taping the trigger down and going for it. There's always a time and a place for wide open tracks. I do agree they are incredibly fun, and video games should be fun, 100%. But for the competition aspect, that's why I like the rough and the more difficult stuff. I really, really do. So I was going to see if I can get back up onto this bridge again to do a cheeky little outro, and it would appear I have been blocked by the world border. It doesn't let me up there. So I'm going to try one last ditch effort attempt. I'm going to see if I can try and get all the way down to the other end of the track, but I have a very similar feeling it's going to be exactly the same thing down here, where there's going to be a barrier on the edge of the world, which might make me cry just a little bit. I do see there's another bridge over there. Yeah, oh, this hasn't even got collisions on this side. And oh, so there's the invisible barrier there as well. I don't remember there being multiple bridges here though. I remember, oh, okay, maybe I'm, oh no, okay. Yeah, you definitely, you can't get on any of these bridges anymore. That sucks. That's a shame. But I imagine there's certain like limitations to that he has to work with, and the map can only be a certain size. And it is a quite a big map, especially fitting 2 tracks on here as well. So incredible stuff, and I'm sure as well, if you've played the old E Street, just from a visual aspect, before you even set tyres onto the track, I think we can all agree this is a minimum of 10 times more pretty than the old one. And the old one wasn't ugly by any means, but it's just the level of detail that goes into this, like the norm work and texturing is really, really good. It just makes it look so 3D as well, the norm work, which is always something that I could never grasp, never get my head around when I was trying to make tracks myself, which is why I outsourced and I got Kevin Fwailer to do the texturing on my track, because I just tried so many times, I gave up in the end. I couldn't do it. So to all the track creators that we have in this game, particularly ones of Kels's caliber and level of skill, thank you so much for making this game actually interesting, because I always I sit there sometimes and think, damn, this game would be boring if we didn't have the modding community. Imagine just having Perboso tracks only forever. That'd be, I don't think the game would be anywhere near what it is today. So thank you everyone involved in making this happen. Thank you all of you for watching. It really does mean the most. If you enjoyed what you saw today and you want to see some more of it, then please do drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. It's very much appreciated. Have a lovely rest of the day, whatever you're up to, and I'll see you all in the next video. Peace.